Welcome to the new moon in Capricorn reading. 3 more cards for another moon cycle. So we've got Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Capricorn, so a lot of Capricorn energy. And I know I've talked about it before, but I like to always remind us of the seed analogy. When you plant a seed, it needs to go down first and go into the darkness and take the nutrients out of the darkness so that it can sprout up. And that process of going down and building a foundation for yourself, that's such a beautiful way to think about Capricorn as an archetype, as a energy. Like, what is it doing? It's helping us build a foundation for ourselves. And so we've got 3 cards here: the 7 of Wands, the cotton candy pink card, it says make a wish on the bottom, and nightshade, aka belladonna, aka very poisonous plant. And this card is also related to the devil. So a lot to unpack here. But let's start with, so new moon. It's the new moon energy right now. That's usually the time for sowing the seeds of intention to allow them to manifest over the course of the moon cycle for the month. And so this is a very potent time because it's Capricorn. And like I was saying about the archetype, it's about building the foundation. So it's building the foundation for what it is we want this new Gregorian year to look like. And also there's this other thing that's happening where it's all conjunct Pluto. And so there are some astrologers who think that means it's more of a time for like transformation, and you don't want to set intentions, you want to release things. And yes, I see that. And also I think that there's really room for both. And I think that just like you can't ask for the collapse of capitalism or many other systems that are detrimental to us, but not imagine something for the future. Like you have to demolish something and to not prepare for what it is that you would like to imagine into the future puts you back on the perpetual cycle of doing the same thing over and over again. Like our intention is to get out of the cycle. And of course, but if we're not making the imaginary changes, like we have to imagine like the imaginal cells in a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. That has to be us. We have to enact that cellular change in us. We are the cells on the planet. And now we're getting deep, but bringing it back to the cards, we've got this 7 of Wands here, and Wands being the fire element. Obviously there's a little fire on this twig here, and 7 numerologically speaking to me in the lower or minor arcana really signifies this opportunity to look inside of ourselves and to really settle in. We've come a long way in figuring out what it is and what we want to be putting our creative energy into. And now it's time to refine, just like in this card where we're casting away all of these other wands in favor of this one wand that is lit on fire, because that is the fire that's within us. That is the drive to do anything, the biological drive to get out of bed in the morning. Like, it's what is driving us, what is our passion, what is the thing that we want to pursue that is worthy of investing our time and our energy into, because we have to really get right with that. We have no other real choice right now with the dramatic changes that are happening structurally speaking all across the globe. And we have an opportunity to go in a negative route or to go into a more hopeful route. Because I don't want to, I don't even want to like play in the binaries of good and bad, because that really it all exists together. But we need to decide what vantage point we want to be looking at things from. How do we want to be expending our energy, knowing that we have to make these choices? Otherwise, what's the point of living, you know? And so the Seven of Wands really wants us to dig down deep into ourselves and figure out, like, what is it that I want to put my energy into, my creative energy, my kundalini energy, my blood, my sweat, my tears. What do I want to be putting my energy into? Making conscious choices about that, because we have to. And it's better that we do it now before everything completely collapses, because it's collapsing, but it hasn't completely collapsed yet. So we still have some time to utilize the resources that we have right now in order to build a foundation for ourselves that could possibly be more hopeful than every apocalyptic movie we've ever seen, or every hopeless thing that we've ever been force-fed in our culture. Reiterating that is this cotton candy card. So it's like a pink color, obviously. So pink gives me the mixture of red and white. So that gives me root chakra and crown chakra. And so the combination of those, again, I know that I've talked about this before, but the necessity of marrying the grounded nature of our physical selves with the spiritual connection of the one consciousness and everything being together. So important. And particularly in this, the like Make-A-Wish card, we have an opportunity, as I said, as everything is crumbling around us, as we are going through this Capricorn, Pluto, Sun and Moon and combination situation of transforming everything at a deep structural level. How can we imagine what we want for the future? A lot of times I get to thinking about Octavia Butler and that imagined possibility for the future. And that could really be what the future looks like. But also, it doesn't have to be the only thing that I can imagine. I could imagine something else, potentially. But we have to activate that. The imagination is another muscle that a lot of times we don't utilize because we have enough media, we have enough distraction to put things into our head. We don't flex the muscle of imagining often. I mean, you know, people do, creative people do, and people, but the thing is like we have to work on that together. Like, how can we imagine what a hopeful future is for us, and how can we feel like we're getting there, feel like there's a possibility for us to get there? And maybe I'm just talking to myself, because I be getting real hopeless sometimes. I get really sad. I get really just disheartened. And this card is like, hey, spirit is here. Eat the sugary candy, the fluffy, cloudy candy, and imagine what it was like to like be hopeful, be childlike, be curious, be imaginative, because now is the time to enact that imagination and to believe in possibilities beyond what we've been force-fed. This last card, Belladonna Nightshade, very poisonous plant. And I love this card, and I love this particular saying from, well, I don't know who coined it, but I heard about it from an emo song. But the difference between medicine and poison is the dose. And that rings super, super true with this particular plant, because this plant has been known for maybe thousands of years to be a poisonous plant that is often utilized by people who are considered witches. And it was known to be said, or it was said to be the flying ointment, and not necessarily because it allowed people to get on broomsticks and fly away, but it did put you into a trance-like state, an almost death-like state, where you could really astral project, where you could really feel the disembodied part of your spirit, leaving your physical and going into other realms. And so if utilized correctly and in a tempered way, it can really open you up to experiences, to realities, to things that you can't just know in your physical body, in your physical senses. And also, it can kill you. It can just kill you. And people used it as poisons to kill people, and as people do, you know? And so this is the devil. This is the dance that you're doing with the devil. And this is, I mean, it comes up for me in things like smoking. Like, should I be smoking? Probably not. Could I control my rage without it? Maybe eventually. But I utilize the medicine of the marijuana to help relax and remind myself that I can make it through this. And someday I know that I will come upon a time when I need to relinquish my relationship to that because I'm utilizing it as a crutch or as purely escapism. And this is what this card wants you to look at. What are you using as escapism in your life? What are you using to mitigate your energy in your life? Understanding, like, what are you investing your energy into? And how is it uplifting you, or is it taking you down? And really get honest with yourself about this question, because at the end of the day, like, anything that is stealing your energy, or you're not putting your energy into grounding into your physical self or connecting to your spiritual higher self, when you're not getting grounded into yourself, it's really easy, or when you have trauma, because we all got trauma at this point, and we have generational trauma on top of that. If you can't take good care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all elementally, then it'll kill you. It'll kill you in one way or another, either through physical illness or something else. And we're all going to die anyways. So we're all just on this treadmill doing the best we can. And so this card is really asking us to be accountable to ourselves, be respectful to ourselves, be respectful to the tools that we use, the relationships that we have with the medicines that we utilize, because it is all too easy to go into some level of escapism that is not actually beneficial for your physical self or any other aspects of yourself. So really keep this in mind while you're doing your journeying, your tripping, your like whatever it is that you're doing to astral project yourself out of the reality, because I know I dissociate sometimes and I have to pull myself back down and take good care of myself and figure out where I want to be putting my energy and figure out how I can imagine new, brighter possibilities than what is prescribed to us by a society that wants us all dead. So with that, I hope that you all have a blessed new moon and that you take good care of yourselves and you really begin, if you haven't already, to really build that foundation for yourself of not how are we going to get through what we have to get through, or how are we not even thinking about what is coming, but thinking about how can we fortify ourselves right now so that no matter what comes, we got each other. We got ourselves and we got each other. And this is the most important takeaway that I think that we need to focus on in the Capricorn new moon. So blessings to y'all, and I'll see you next time.